I joked that my neighbor should come on my road trip. She asked, "Just you and me?" Then smiled. The last thing I expected when I joked about taking my neighbor on a road trip was for her to actually say yes. I was standing beside my old SUV, trying to force a suitcase into a trunk that was already packed with camping gear, when my neighbor, Emma, walked across the driveway. She stopped beside me and looked at the mess. "Going somewhere?" "3 days away from civilization," I said. "Mountains, lakes, terrible gas station coffee. You should come." I said it as a joke. At least, I thought it was a joke. Emma tilted her head and smiled. "Just you and me?" I froze. There was something about the way she said it that made my heart suddenly beat faster. I looked at the suitcase in my hands. "Yeah. If you're brave enough." She smiled again. "I might be." Then she walked back toward her house. I stood there staring after her. I had just invited my beautiful neighbor on a 3-day road trip. And somehow, she had accepted. Emma and I had been neighbors for almost 2 years. We weren't strangers. We weren't exactly friends either. We were somewhere in between. We borrowed things from each other. I had fixed her porch light twice. She had brought me homemade cookies when I was sick. Sometimes we'd stand outside talking until one of us realized 20 minutes had passed. But neither of us had ever crossed that invisible line. There had always been something unspoken between us. Something neither of us wanted to name. The morning of the trip, I woke up before sunrise. I checked my phone. No message from Emma. For a moment, I wondered if she had changed her mind. Then, at exactly 7, someone knocked on my door. I opened it. Emma stood there with a small backpack over her shoulder, sunglasses on her head, and a smile that made me forget whatever I was about to say. "You ready?" I stared at her. "You're actually coming." She laughed. "You're the one who invited me." I was joking. "I know." She stepped past me. But I wasn't. My heart skipped. "What?" She turned around. I wasn't joking. Then she walked toward the SUV. I followed her in silence. The first hour of the drive was surprisingly easy. We talked about everything. Childhood memories. Bad jobs. Embarrassing first dates. Places we'd always wanted to visit. Emma admitted she'd never been camping. "You're going to hate it," I told her. "Why?" "Because there's no room service." She smiled. "Then you'll have to take care of me." I nearly missed my turn. After another hour, we stopped at a small roadside cafe. We sat across from each other with 2 cups of coffee between us. Emma looked out the window. "I've always wanted to do something like this." "Road trips?" "No." She looked at me. "Leave everything behind for a few days." I understood what she meant. Sometimes life becomes so repetitive that you forget you're allowed to change direction. After breakfast, we got back on the road. But around noon, the sky changed. Dark clouds rolled over the mountains. Rain started hitting the windshield. Then the GPS announced that the main road was closed because of a landslide. I looked at Emma. "Well." She laughed. "Don't tell me we're lost." "We're not lost. You don't know where we are." "I know approximately where we are." "That means lost." We both laughed. I turned onto a smaller mountain road. It was beautiful. Trees surrounded us on both sides, and mist hung over the hills. Then the engine began making a strange noise. I frowned. "What?" Emma asked. "Nothing." The noise got louder. Then the SUV stopped. Right in the middle of nowhere. Emma looked at me. "Please tell me this is part of the adventure." I sighed. Definitely. She laughed. For the next hour, we tried everything. I checked the engine. I called roadside assistance. No signal. Emma held a flashlight while I worked. Eventually, we sat on the hood of the SUV, listening to the rain. She looked at me. You know, this is actually nice. Our car broke down. Exactly. I laughed. You're weird. You invited me. There was silence. Then she asked softly. Why did you? I knew what she meant. Why did I invite her? Why her? I looked down at my hands. Because every time I thought about taking this trip alone, it felt empty. Emma didn't say anything. I continued. And when I saw you that morning, I just wanted you there. She smiled. That wasn't a joke. No. She looked away. Good. The rain continued falling. We eventually got the SUV started enough to reach a small mountain town. The only hotel had one room available. 2 beds. I made a joke about sleeping in the car. Emma rolled her eyes. You're not sleeping in a car. Then where? She pointed toward the room. Inside. That night, we sat near the hotel window listening to the rain. Emma had changed into comfortable clothes and was sitting with her knees pulled toward her chest. You know what scares me, she said. What? Going back home. I looked at her. Why? Because this feels different. I understood. Away from our houses, our routines, and the people who knew us, we were simply 2 people. No labels. No expectations. No neighbors watching. Just us. Emma looked at me. Do you ever wonder what would happen if we stopped pretending? My heart started pounding. Pretending what? That we're just neighbors. I didn't answer. She smiled nervously. I think about you more than I should. I swallowed. I think about you too. For a few seconds, neither of us moved. Then she whispered. Good. The next morning, the weather cleared. We continued toward the lake. When we finally arrived, the view was incredible. Blue water. Tall mountains. Golden sunlight. We walked along the shore for hours. At one point, Emma stopped. I don't want this trip to end. Neither do I. She looked at me. Then don't let it. I smiled. What are you suggesting? She stepped closer. I'm suggesting that maybe this wasn't a road trip. What was it? Her eyes met mine. A beginning. I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Instead, she squeezed my fingers. We stood there quietly as the wind moved through the trees. And for the first time, neither of us was pretending. On the drive home, Emma fell asleep in the passenger seat. Every few minutes, I glanced over at her. I realized something. I'd spent 2 years living beside her. 2 years saying good morning. 2 years fixing little things around her house. 2 years pretending that the feeling between us wasn't there. But sometimes, life gives you one ridiculous opportunity to finally stop being afraid. For me, that opportunity started with a joke. Come on my road trip. And ended with Emma waking up as we pulled into our neighborhood. She looked at me sleepily. Are we home? Yeah. She looked toward her house. Then back at me. That's unfortunate. I laughed. She opened the door, then paused. Same time next weekend? For another road trip? She smiled. No. She stepped closer. For our first real date. Then she kissed my cheek and walked toward her house. I sat there smiling like an idiot. The next morning, I found a note taped to my front door. It said, Pack light. I'm choosing the destination this time. I looked across the street. Emma was standing outside her house, smiling at me. And suddenly, home didn't feel like the place where our adventure ended. It felt like the place where it finally began.